Something unusual is happening in Dubai right now, and it's not being talked about openly. For years, the city has been sold as a dream destination. Tax-free income, luxury living, endless sunshine. But just beneath that polished surface, a quiet shift is underway. People are leaving. Not just a few, but a growing number of residents who once believed Dubai was the place to build their future. At first, it doesn't seem obvious. The skyline is still expanding. Tourists are still pouring in. Influencers are still posting rooftop views and supercars. But if you look closer, you start to notice the cracks. Apartments sitting empty longer than expected. Professionals quietly relocating. Families packing up without much explanation. And here's the strange part. Nobody is really talking about it in the open. There's no big headline, no official announcement. Just whispers, private conversations, and sudden exits. So what's actually going on? Why would people leave a city that appears to offer so much? In this video, we're going to break it down. Not the surface level story, but the real reasons behind this silent relocation trend. From rising costs to lifestyle pressure, and even deeper structural issues that most people don't see until they're already living there. Because once you understand what's happening behind the scenes, Dubai starts to look very different. And the reality might surprise you. Let's start with one of the biggest factors driving people out, the cost of living. Dubai has always had a reputation for luxury, but recently, the gap between income and expenses has been getting tighter. Rent is a major issue. Over the past couple of years, housing prices have surged. Many residents have seen their rent increase by 20, 30, even 50% when renewing contracts. And it's not just high-end apartments. Mid-range housing, the kind most working professionals rely on, has become significantly more expensive. Now add in school fees for families, which can be extremely high. Then healthcare, transportation, groceries, and daily expenses. Suddenly, that tax-free salary doesn't stretch as far as it used to. For many expats, the math is no longer working. They came to save money, to build something, to get ahead. But instead, they're finding themselves spending more just to maintain the same lifestyle. And here's the catch. Salaries haven't kept up at the same pace. In many industries, wages have remained relatively flat while expenses continue to climb. So people are making a simple calculation. If the financial advantage disappears, what's the point of staying? That question alone is pushing a growing number of residents to consider other options. Places where the cost of living is more stable, or where income and expenses are better balanced. And once that thought sets in, it's hard to ignore. Beyond finances, there's another factor that doesn't show up on paper but affects daily life in a big way. The pressure to keep up. Dubai is a city built on image. Luxury cars, high-end restaurants, designer brands, exclusive events. It's everywhere, and it's constant. Even if you're not trying to live that lifestyle, you're surrounded by it. Over time, that environment can create a subtle but powerful pressure. People feel the need to match what they see around them. To dress a certain way, live in a certain area, go to certain places. It becomes less about choice and more about expectation. For some, it's exciting at first. But after a while, it can become exhausting. Mentally and financially. Social media adds another layer. Dubai is one of the most showcased cities online. The highlight reel never stops. And when your everyday life doesn't match what you're constantly seeing, it can lead to dissatisfaction. Many residents don't talk about this openly, but it's there. A quiet strain that builds over time. Eventually, some people start asking themselves if this lifestyle is really what they want. Not the image, but the reality of maintaining it. And for a growing number of residents, the answer is no, so they start looking elsewhere. Not necessarily for luxury, but for balance. For a place where life feels less like a performance and more like something real. Another major reason people are leaving Dubai comes down to something structural: job security and visa dependency. In Dubai, your residency is tied directly to your employment. Lose your job, and you don't just lose income. You potentially lose your right to stay in the country. That creates a level of uncertainty that many people underestimate before moving there. At first, it might not seem like a big issue. But over time, it changes how people think and behave. Decisions become more cautious. Risks feel higher. There's always that underlying awareness that stability can shift quickly. And in recent years, job markets have become more competitive. Companies restructure. Roles change. New talent enters the market constantly. For some residents, especially mid-career professionals, this creates pressure. If something goes wrong, there's often a limited window to find another job before having to leave. That kind of system works for some people, but not for everyone. Especially those looking for long-term stability or planning to raise families. Other countries are offering alternative models. Longer-term visas, pathways to residency, or even citizenship. That contrast is starting to matter more. People begin to ask themselves, do I want to build my life in a place where everything depends on my current job? For many, the answer is shifting. And that shift is quietly contributing to the relocation trend we're seeing now. The world has changed a lot in recent years, and those changes have affected how people think about where they live. Before, the focus for many expats in Dubai was clear. Work hard, earn well, enjoy the lifestyle. But after global disruptions, remote work trends, and shifting personal priorities, that mindset is evolving. People are placing more value on stability, community, and long-term security. Things that aren't always easy to find in a fast-paced, transient city like Dubai. For example, remote work has opened new options. Some professionals no longer need to be physically based in a specific city. That gives them the freedom to choose locations based on lifestyle, cost, or family needs rather than just job opportunities. And when they compare options, Dubai doesn't always come out on top. Some are moving back to their home countries. Others are choosing emerging destinations with lower costs and more relaxed environments. Places where they can slow down a bit, without sacrificing too much financially. There's also a growing desire for roots. A sense of belonging that goes beyond temporary residence. Dubai, by design, is a global hub. People come and go. That works for short-term goals, but for long-term living, it can feel less grounded. So what we're seeing isn't just people leaving Dubai. It's people redefining what they want from life. And that shift is reshaping migration patterns in ways that aren't always visible on the surface. The question now is whether Dubai will adjust to this shift or continue relying on its existing model. Either way, the silent relocation trend is real. And once you start noticing it, you can't unsee it. So the next time you hear about life in Dubai, remember this. There's always more happening beneath the surface than what's being shown.